My wife has been doing something surreptitious for years, part 2. Hi there, welcome to Reddit Goat Channel. Today we are going to have another unbelievable cheating story. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our daily cheating stories. Just filing for divorce isn't so simple. My wife has a serious seizure disorder that is uncontrolled. She can't tell when they're happening, so that puts herself and possibly others, small kids especially our daughter to be exact, in danger. I mention this as it pertains to custody. Imagine she's making dinner for her and my daughter one evening, and she has a seizure near the stovetop, and the house catches on fire. Well, the only adult in the house is lying on the floor unconscious. Or what if my daughter has a medical emergency, but then my wife has a seizure due to the stress of the situation? These are very real possibilities, and ones that I fear could happen if she got custody in any way. Some of those examples aren't too far off from other real-life incidents we've had over the years due to her seizure disorder. She obviously can't drive. Would this factor into a custody dispute? I mean, our daughter is starting kindergarten in a month, how could my wife transport her? I don't know what I'm looking for with this whole rambling post, maybe just assurance that her gaslighting isn't working? That what I've described isn't the workings of an overly paranoid mind? I feel like one minute I'm ready to file for divorce, and then the next I want to try to salvage things for the sake of our daughter, and just to avoid the awful mess that will be made of all three of our lives if we end up separating. Here's some other logistical details that seem important for anyone who's managed to read this far. We own a house together, have a mortgage. We have significant investments that we have joint control over that were given to us by her dad. They total somewhere in the range of, deleted, in stocks and bonds. I'm on wonderful terms with her parents and her family in general. I've always been that son-in-law that was there for everyone to lend help no matter how small or large. All of her immediate family is right here where we live. I have zero family support from my side where we live. My nearest friend is 1.5 hours away. I left work today in order to start lining things up. So I met with my lawyer this morning and she was great. She gave me a lot of confidence that I felt was draining away from me throughout the week as I waited to confront. I also had a good friend that was my rock throughout the week, and I will never be able to thank him enough. I ended up confronting my wife right after the meeting with the lawyer. I refused to give up any of my evidence. I just said I know about the other guy, I need you to talk about it. I just kept repeating that line while she went through crocodile tears in confusion about what I was talking about. It was so fucking hard not giving up any of that information. But I knew that I had all the power in that situation. In the end she never confessed. I basically moved the conversation from there by saying, well, it doesn't matter if you admit to what I already know or not, because the sexting that you did last year was enough to destroy any trust I had in you. And I can no longer live like this. From there she just kind of shut down, and became pretty docile, and never brought back up this outrageous thing I was falsely accusing her of. We pretty quickly moved into business-like details about what to do in the short term. Her dad came over and picked her up and gave me a hug, and said let us know if you need anything. I fucking teared up right at that moment. I'm not letting my guard down yet, because anything can happen, but I think things may work out for the better for everyone involved. Here are some of the best comments from our community. My dad must went through his second divorce this year. First marriage was to my mom who was, to put it mildly, a cheater who took his kids away to live with an abusive man. The second marriage lasted 20 years, he did everything for her, but despite having a kid together was very cold, non-tactile and her drinking became alcoholism after her dad died. Long story short, he did everything for her, she really took the piss especially re-divorce terms. But, now he's dating someone kind and loving. At 60, he's finally found true love. He's never really had that before. It's funny isn't it what people will normalize and get used to. I just wanted to reinforce what you said. My husband was married to his high school sweetheart for 30 years until she had an affair with her administrator. The marriage was dissolved. 2 years later at age 52 he meets a lucky me, 46-year-old, who has never been married. We are genuinely the love of our lives. The sun rises and sets on each other day after day, year after year. His grown daughters are now mine to share. As are our precious new grandkids. Op and wife made a precious child and that's going to keep him from ever saying that he regrets marrying her. That baby was meant to be born. This man is going to go on to live and love again. What a catch, he is going to make some loving, faithful woman one day. I'd agree with the be careful advice. She may think she wants this now, but there are some harsh realities ahead for her. She probably thinks another dude wants her, but I'm sure he won't. He knows she's a hoe. She might lose her daughter and all stability EU taking care of her in her condition. If you tell her parents, I understand why you don't, but she will eventually spin her own version in which you will look bad. Her family might alienate her to some degree. I would assume that's very probable given the amount of respect they have for you. If all this happens, she will become very desperate. This will bring out the absolute worst of an already terrible person. She could accuse you of all sorts of horrors that will affect whether you get custody. Hard proof of cheating won't stack up well against an unfound accusation of abuse. However, if her own parents are in the loop and are willing to testify or produce a character witness statement, your chances increase tenfold. Whatever course you decide to take, I really hope you get full custody. I know it's not a healthy line of thought, but I really want life to make her realize she fucked up hard and destroyed her life, sacrificed her daughter and a damn good husband. My wife has a good deal of medical conditions making me sole provider and caretaker. I know how hard it is to deal with that on top of every other stress of life, for a few fleeting moments of passion that left her life empty of loved ones. Sorry for the rant, it seems your situation hit home for a lot of us and we'd really like to see you come out on top. Good luck, bro, we're rooting for you. Here's the second story. My good friend just called me and told me he heard my wife was cheating on me with one of her coworkers. Some dude named Dale. Apparently my friend was told by one of my wife's friends out at the bar over the weekend. He confirmed it today with her. According to the story, she's been sneaking off during work hours to fuck, so I'd never have any idea. She has been a little different these past few weeks, but always been around when she's supposed to and didn't say or do anything while I was around to raise my suspicion. Such a subtle difference that until now I didn't pick up on it. We've still been getting it on and it's been fine, I don't know what the deal is. So, upon arriving home, I waited for her to get home at her normal time, around 5 p.m. my time. She didn't get home until about 6. First thing I asked her was how was your day, and she said pretty shitty. She got stuck in traffic, barraged with work at her job, etc. General complaining. I waited for her to get comfortable and then broached the topic. I laid what I knew on the table and waited for her response. Just the facts, nothing speculated. I heard from my friend that she was sleeping with a guy named Dale during work hours. She took a deep breath and said, I kind of wanted you to find out. It was eating me up inside. Sort of explains why she told her friend. Said that her and Dale have had sex 3 times. My guess is this is a lie, doesn't matter how many times though. She went on to say how she got caught up in the thrill of it and didn't even think about how I would feel. This is when I lost all respect for her. She didn't think about how I would feel? We talked about it for a solid 2 hours, yelling, crying on her part, but at the end of it all, she isn't sleeping here tonight. She blamed me for being emotionally unavailable and some shit like that. Also that I'm not the same guy she fell in love with years ago, that I've changed. Honestly, I think it's her that has changed. Her whole demeanor was that she was tired of being with me. I understand, but this is a shitty way of approaching it. But whatever. She can't sleep here because I am the leaseholder to the house. I have for the past 5 years, and the landlord was touchy about putting her on it with her spotty credit. I also removed all my funds from our joint checking account before I even got home. We have no kids, so that's a huge relief. 3.5 years of marriage and 6 years of being together, done. I'm trying to keep my cool, but I seriously feel like breaking a bunch of her shit here. Having a bonfire with her clothes. But that wouldn't solve anything, I'm not 16. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.